Hi and welcome back to Passionate for Angels. My name is Aaron, and on today's episode we're going to show you how to do a facelift to an old metal rack. We'll be right back. Now for the next part, we're going to use a table saw and we're going to rip the boards in half going lengthways. So you're going to want to start at a low setting, about a ½ inch, and then as you go, you're going to make a pass, flip it over, make another pass, go up another ½ inch, and repeat the process until you have completed and gone all the way through the board. And it should look something like this. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next step after we've ripped the 2x4s in half. Now we're going to go ahead and cut everything to size. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to put up right here the different lengths of the two different sets of boards. You got your up and down, your supports, and then you got your cross rails. So what we'll go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and cut those out. I'm going to use the miter saw, or the cuts are much more accurate and more precise. I'm going to go ahead and shut the video off now because I'm going to go ahead and start doing these cuts, and we'll be right back in a minute. All right, you're probably asking yourself, why would we go ahead and sand? Well, if you look right here into the camera, see if I can get that in there. Doesn't look like I can. If you see that marking there, it says Hampton Premier. Unless you like that to be a permanent part or a look of your rack, we're going to sand all that off and get it nice and smooth. All right, we're now at the staining part. We got a stain that we used on our other rack, and it's called English Chestnut. It's got more of a brown and it's dark colored and looks really good on a rack. You're also going to need 2 gloves. You call it stain, and it will stain your hand just like anything else. Use a 1-inch cheapy. Go to Harbor Freight, you buy a box of these for like $6, $8. I have them on hand. That way I can use it. If it gets crusty and old, I can just pitch it, no big deal. And then the last thing is a t-shirt. And yes, I've used this before with this same stain. Let me show you real fast. And get these gloves on. We're gonna go ahead and stain one of these. Show you the proper procedure. Right, I got the gloves on. All you're gonna do, get a generous amount of stain on there, and you're gonna brush it on. Everybody does a little different. This is the way I've always done it. Works great for me. If you know of another way and it works good for you, you might want to leave that down in the comments and try and help out some of our other fish enthusiasts with working with wood or completing a job. But like I said, what we're going to do is we're just put a generous layer of stain down. I'm going to take our little magic rag. We're going to wipe off all the excess. Try to take some of the excess and go around the corners here real quick. It helps to seal it up. All right, so that's how you put the stain on. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and we'll do some pictures while we're doing it. All right, folks, as you see, we've got the boards all stained. Stained, ready to go. What we're going to do now is we're going to let them sit for 4 hours, and we're going to come back over and put polyurethane on them. The reason why we put polyurethane on is it seals the wood, and it's going to help protect it from the water from the tanks. So I guess we'll see you back in about 4 hours. 4 hours my time. It'll be just a second, so we'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back. The next thing we're going to do is going to put on the polyurethane. What I like to use is the Minwax, the fast drying polyurethane, the super durability, and I have one of my 1-inch brushes. This is pretty easy to do. All we're going to do is going to put on a real light coat. We'll spread that out. Cover the whole board. Nice and easy, nice and even. Okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is continue with this. Get all the boards done, and we'll be back in just a flash. All right, folks. What we got here is all of these boards have been polyurethaned, and what's supposed to happen next is it's supposed to wait for 4 hours, and then put on another coat. Wait another 4 hours. Use light sandpaper over the boards themselves. Light sandpaper being 220. You just kind of scruff it up, and then you apply another coat of the polyurethane after that, and you can continue that process until you feel that you've got it sealed up and ready for use. So I'm going to go ahead and do this a couple more times. I'm not going to show it on the video. I don't want to waste your time any more than I already have, and we'll move on to the next step, which is going to be installation. So I look forward to continuing this rack facelift, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so this is the best part of the whole process, is of course the build. Now that we got all the work, excuse me, now we got all the other work done. The reason why I chose these bolts, these screws, is that they don't, on the bottom end, they won't pull through, and if you ever need to take the face off, you can lift it up, loosen the screw from the back, and it'll come right out those eyelets. I'm going to line up the board so that it covers both of those pieces. And since I already dry fit this, I've got the holes, a couple holes already in place. What I'm going to do is line up the first one. Take a drill with your drill bit in it, and line that screw up. Tighten her down. Just like that. Like I said, you want to make sure that it's covered both sides so that it isn't hiding. You're hiding the framework here. And that's with just 2 screws. So I'm going to continue putting the screws on. I'll go ahead and get the vertical bars on, and I'll be back in a second to put the horizontals on. Just like that. Nice and sturdy. Ain't going nowhere. I'll be right back. Another valuable piece of information that I forgot to add was that you can use these clips here to hold everything in place. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to drill from the outside of the frame. I'm going to start at one end at about 4 inches from the end, and then do the other end at 4 inches from the end, and then about 4 inches, about every 4 inches we're going to add another hole so we can put a screw in. Screw, that's the location of where the hole approximately should be, and that will be enough. If that's not enough to hold it, then you can put one above it and add extra screws. I'm going to screw from the back side through the metal and into the wood. That way it'll hold it firmly and safely for the rest of the time you own it. Once that's completed, you sit back and look at what you've accomplished. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. I hope you really enjoyed the facelift that we did to one of our old rack systems that we had. It actually was a lot of fun, and it's a lot of creative ideas that had to go on behind it. The story that goes along with it is that my wife had back surgery about a year and a half ago, and the last time we moved all of this, she hurt her back in the process. So when I built this rack that's behind me, I wanted to go ahead and incorporate this into that system over there, and she basically told me, no way, we're not doing it. No, I don't care, we can't do it. You need to come up with another way. So that's what I came up with, and that's what we went with. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's something that you could get some ideas with and do something with with a project yourself. Excuse me. If this is your first time here, we greatly appreciate it if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you are continuing to watch us on this channel, we thank you for doing so. And that's about it. So I'm going to wrap this up. And as always, happy fish keeping, and we'll see you again next time.